We don't have Lois here tonight, Tim, so I hope we can answer your question.
All right, let me know when I can shoot.
You go ahead.
Good.
Yeah.
The first question I have is, I see the amount you put in there for the fire district.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I'll make a motion to exit.
All in favor?
Aye.
You did just open the public hearing.
And,
Yeah.
a motion to open the public hearing
Yeah.
for the town budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the first thing is, I didn't see in here accommodation for the increase in the NDP.
What page are you on, Tim? If you could tell.
Talking about the summary page at the top where it says the fire district,
But he's asking about the increase that he requested for the NDP that we said that we
Oh, the
could
fire
not do,
district,
right?
605,000.
655, we're looking at the 2025 top. Right, that's the number we agreed on based on the budget we passed
That's right,
last year, the memo sent you in March.
that's right.
And then August is in a memo saying the NDP contract is gonna jump 40% from 425 to 600,000,
Mhm,
starting June 1st
mhm.
of 2025. And so in the memo I said to you, that's gonna mean doing the allocations, here's the increase to the town. Just pull them all out so I can speak to those numbers. And what I recommended was that you continue with the original plan, which is in February and March, pay half of, what sums up to the 655,
Mhm,
429.
mhm.
And then starting on June 1st, that you pay the village monthly installments. That sum up to, by the end of the years, the 7 months, the additional cost to the town, which would be 87,500.
Why would we
But
do that
that's,
monthly?
that's
Well, that's what I'm
something,
recommending. I
we
mean,
can't do that because we would have to put that into the next budget. Do you see
well, I'm
what I
asking you
mean?
to put in this budget, so.
You're
that
putting
you-
it into your budget, but you're asking us to put it in our budget for this year
Right,
to compensate for something for
2026.
2026.
no. So starting June 1st of 2025.
Right.
The annual budget to NDP is 600,000. Okay,
From the village.
from the village, for the contract, which covers village and town
Right.
services.
And in the past, we
The
gave you,
$655,000 that you're gonna be paying in February and March covers the compensation for fire as well as rescue. That includes the current budget with NDP, which is only 425,000. Okay, so to cover that additional cost for the remaining 7 months of 2025
of your budget,
of the contract,
right?
right? I'm asking the town to pay your portion of that increase from June 1st to December 31st of 2025. Okay,
When would we normally have paid that?
you would have normally paid that in February and March of 2025. And I would have given that bill to you based on the budget back in March of 2024. All right, because this contract is new, all right, this is a change to the budget.
It's a change to the timing of
It's
the
a change,
payment.
it's a change to the contract.
Correct,
Right.
it's changed
Right.
by the
So,
date
so,
of what they used to be. You now advanced it by 3 months.
no.
Yeah.
Huh? What's your 3 months?
So the current contract ends when, Tim?
May 31st,
Uh,
2025.
2025.
2025.
Okay,
And you're telling us it's going to increase 40%.
right,
So you want from June, July, August, September, October, November, December, you want an additional compensation to cover that 40% increase
for 2025.
for 2025.
Because what you pay the village in February and March of 2025 covers your fiscal year 2025, January 1st to
Yes.
December 31st.
Correct.
Mhm.
All right.
Because it's split basically between two segments.
Yeah, because
Old contract, new contract.
the NDP contract aligns with the village's fiscal year,
Yes,
June 1st to May 31st of the following year.
So did we do pricing for additional contract, or are you going to approve this 40% increase with NDP. Did you
I
get?
don't think there's a choice, is there?
Well, I don't know.
Well,
Did you?
I've gone to the other vendor who's willing to offer their services, and it
Mhm.
was for $900,000.
Okay,
So I chose to stay with NDP.
so NDP
I
okay,
had the best price,
had the best price. So you did do due diligence.
Yes.
You did get it.
right?
Okay.
And that was the only other available
Yeah. Yeah.
provider.
Right.
Okay.
So let me ask, why are you asking us to change the way we've done it in the past?
Because I get this. I mean, there's an increase, but didn't we say that we couldn't do that because it was for the next year? It was like 2026 or something.
Right.
But we actually, the contract is going to start at the end of May and start June 1st. So
Of
he's asking,
2025.
right. So he's asking us
And back in
To
March,
cover this
when I asked you to
increase.
7
approve,
months
7 months
within the current budget,
within the current budget.
and then the others will be on the projected next year's. budget.
Right.
so for the
Yeah.
next budget, it'll be the same as we've done in the past. I will know what it's gonna be in 2026, and I will give you that budget in March of 2025. So the reason why I didn't do that this year is because I didn't know back
Sure.
then what the NDP contract would be.
So in effect, it's not affecting our projected budget because we built in the 655.
No,
We just don't have how Lowe's is going to allocate that money over to the town, over to the
no,
village.
it's not
No,
true.
we don't have the increase.
We don't have the 40%
And
increase.
we don't have the 40 in there.
Well, how much is it, Jim, per month?
It's $12,500
Per month.
per month.
So we would have to increase this piece of our 2025 budget
$12,400 per month.
times the number of months,
Yes,
times the amount.
yes,
Would have to go up from 655 to whatever that would be.
Right,
yes.
7 times 12,400.
It'd be 12,000 on top of the 655.
Yes, 12,000 times 7.
So to be 6,700 and
So
something.
it's exactly what, 12,000?
Okay, it's 12,418. The total for that 7 months is 87,500.
Times
Seven.
No,
$86,800.
12,418 is what?
Oh, 418, okay.
And then get the 418 in there. That's $4,000 for 2,800. That's 2,800.
418 times 7. 86,926.
Okay, yeah.
86,926 you need from us.
And then add 655, 429 to that. Because then that would be the tax levy
Oh, right.
on the budget.
The additional, like, is this added to that?
Right,
Okay,
so do
we
that.
need to tell, okay.
So add 655, 429 to that amount that you just did.
$742,355.
So did somebody, can we write that down in
Yes.
Yeah,
that column?
Got it.
You got it?
702, what is it?
742,
740.
yeah.
So by adding that in, you then look down at the bottom of your cap, you're under tax cap
Mhm.
of 1,798, and that probably puts us over the cap.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, geez,
One
of
of
course
those.
it does.
Now, if you go over the cap, what does that require? What's the requirement over the
It's a
cap?
required, it's a letter from us stating that. we're
Just to
gonna-
the state?
Yes.
Mhm.
But how much time before a public hearing does this have to be posted onto the town? So the town can review this, because we are now changing this budget.
Which means a new posting, which means
Which
a new
needs
public
to be a
hearing.
public hearing.
I think
Well, it's gotta be adopted by, when?
by Thursday.
By
Yeah.
next Thursday.
Our meeting, our town meeting.
I left my thing.
Yeah.
at home, but I had the time.
We can have the public hearing for next Thursday.
Right,
Yeah.
right
We
before
can
our
do
own
that.
meeting, we could
We
do a
can-
public
We can
hearing.
open another public hearing.
But Lois is going to have to make that adjustment on that line.
Yeah,
And then Lois has to be aware that we allocate monthly the payment over to the village.
Right.
Now, you're saying that would
June
last through
1st till
December, right?
Sorry.
How long would that one go?
So it'll be
to
7 months
December.
from June 1st to December 31st.
Right. And then next year it would revert back to the
Revert
old
back to a
system.
lump sum in February, March.
Is that how long is that contract for?
So it's a 3-year contract, it's
3 years.
3,000 for the first year, 650 the second year, 730. I sent you a copy of the contract. I haven't signed it yet. I want to wait for you guys to
Well,
confirm.
the county's got to step into this.
Well, they are.
Absolutely.
They are, yeah.
They are
it
now,
is.
they're limited to what they can do.
Yes, yeah.
And case in point, we just increased the budget by 86,926.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So,
No, we have to do it.
okay, we have to, but that also affects,
Oh, yeah.
see,
Yeah, there's no bottomless pit here. Although some governments spend more than they take in. All right,
Then I got some questions about the tax rate. Maybe Lois has to answer this. But what I'm curious about is the tax rate for the village went up 21%, while the tax rate for outside the village only went up 7%. Actually, the numbers changed. I saw difference out there, different numbers out there. The town's tax rate, the town outside the village went up 1%, whereas the village went up 21%. So my question is, why is that?
Good question.
the village went up 21%. Are you sure about that?
Okay, but I'll just read the
Pretty
numbers I
su-
got.
I mean, that sounds incredibly,
the tax rate in the village for 2025 is $1.11 per thousand.
right,
It's 1114, right?
yeah.
Where are we here?
Um,
The tax rate for the village in 2025 is 1.11.
1.114, yeah.
And it was last year 0.918.
That could have to do with assessed value. It could be, it's all mathematics, so Lois will have to give you that answer.
Okay, but that's a heck of a jump for the village, especially when the town
Yeah, 0.114, fire 0.053, and town 2.018.
So why is that unheard of? You have the difference
It
between,
went from 0.918 up to 1.114.
okay,
Hmm.
so that's,
Oh, wait a minute, so, okay, so the package I got here is different than what was on the website, so I see the town rate now is
it's, it's,
2.018.
it's a difference.
2.018, yeah.
And the village is 1.114 as compared to 2024's tax rate
Point
Right.
of 0.918.
So it's, okay, so why is that? That's,
It's all
it's
depending on.
less than what the town is.
Yeah, but your value per thousand is
Right.
determined by the values
It's
of
only
the
a
properties
difference of-
within that district.
It's only a difference of 0.196.
Right.
Well, you keep selling the houses for too much money.
Okay.
Your neighbors,
But does that pass the sniff test that the value of houses outside the village only went up 1%? While the value of houses in the village went up 21%?
Yes, it does.
Could be.
Why?
A house on Merritt Avenue sold for almost $800,000. A house on Franklin Avenue is going for $1 million. A house on,
Not sold yet.
okay,
That's what
but
this
still,
advertising-
that's where
next
it's
to me
jumped.
sold for $1 million.
Okay, yes.
But there's no activity
Plus,
outside.
since
the village?
COVID.
Yeah, on the horseshoe, a house just sold for
Minimum.
$448,000.
Okay,
Okay.
not to the ratio that the village. And Tim, you know as well as I do, since COVID or even during COVID, they've been on the market for a day sometimes and you've had a bit more.
Well, okay, that's really
Okay.
slowed down.
It's slowed
But
down,
still,
yes.
but
I
it's still
understand the
going
market
on.
was good in the village, it's only
Right.
outside the village, it's gone cold.
Not
Yes,
cold, but the
Yes, it
prices
has.
are as high as the village.
yes, it has.
On the
Okay.
horseshoe, I'll tell you right now, there's 5 houses on the horseshoe. The most expensive house is selling for $550. The cheapest house is $4,008.
There's a house
On
on
the
Bonnecue,
horseshoe.
there's a house on
400,000.
Bonnecue Road that was $5 million. It is now $3 million and still for sale.
Mhm.
Yes, it's been stagnant. Yes,
Yeah, look at Leslie.
yes.
The
The
market-
house
the
on
market is
Woodstock Road has
fluctuating.
been on the market for almost a year and it hasn't even moved.
So these rates are updated yearly?
Yes, the assessed values, yeah.
Because what that does to the taxes
Well, if you go to values, we gave a value sheet.
is
Yeah.
for the town property taxes for village residents is going up 7%. And for those outside the town, it's only up 3%.
So if you go,
Okay.
That's a big difference.
if you go 4 pages in, Tim, Lois gives a village house
That's what I'm
assessed,
referencing.
assessed
Yeah,
value at
it's-
249.
We do those ratios, yeah.
Right.
At 249, their taxes are increasing $81.64.
Yeah, that ratio,
A townhouse,
I see that. So if you do that calculation, you'll see that the ratio of the increase to last year's taxes for village homes, and the two examples they give here, is a 7% increase. And for all the examples you give for townhomes, that ratio is only 3%.
correct. But don't forget, within the town, she's spreading the expenses into many more homes than
Yeah.
she's dividing it into the village homes. There's less village homes that have to absorb that increase than townhomes have to absorb the increase. So you're always going to find, I think, the village increase is always going to be slightly higher than the town because the number of homes in the village are a fixed number, and the expenses divided in are spread among those towns in there, or those houses there. Whereas in the town, you could add 15 more houses to the town that she has to divide it into, which lessens everybody's assessed value because now more people are paying against that debt as compared to the village.
So you're saying there's been building of new homes in the town outside the village, but yet the price is low so that the rates go.
No.
No.
There's more parcels for her to
I
divide it
understand what Joe
into.
said.
The
Joe said-
rates have not gone down though. I mean, the ratio,
Yeah, so-
the ratio,
So there's new properties, but they're going at lower than normal prices.
No, by adding parcels to an area
Yeah.
allows for the budget process to divide their need into that assessed value. And there's more parcels added, which means now, instead of 700 in the village and 2,000 in the town, maybe now there's 2,300 in the town.
I know what you're saying, it just doesn't fly, it's not consistent with what Joe said.
okay, so
Which is that-
what's your question,
But
Tim?
my question is, why is the rate increase for village residents so much higher than for town residents?
The rate increase,
The percent
For the
increase in
town.
taxes.
the percent.
You mean the
7%
percent?
increase for taxes. in
You're
the
asking
village.
about the percent of and the difference between the rate increase for the town percentage rise versus the village is what?
7% increase, the average, for the two examples are given here, taxes go up 7%. For
Yeah,
village residents. For those outside the village, taxes only go up 3%. Okay.
but where is that? That's not what
Oh,
we're doing.
that's- okay,
That's
look-
not what we're,
Look
that's
at this
just,
table right here,
okay.
all right? Take the ratio of, you see the numbers there? See the first example in the top left corner? You See the increase in taxes is $75.65.
Okay, so where are we?
This table right here,
Okay,
This one,
where the
this
hell
one,
is that?
4 pages.
is that 4 pages? in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying if you take the ratio, and it's easier to see on,
These are examples, okay?
that's all right, just
Okay,
take $81.64 divided by $1,149.06. Okay? And even though those numbers are different than the ones I've got on the copy from the website, I
Mhm.
think that's about 7%. We'll just check that right now.
So,
So going from 1149 to 1230 is a 7%
7%
increase. Okay,
so,
We'll just verify that.
okay, so what number is that again?
So divide $81.64 by $1,149.06.
One more time?
$81.64
Yes.
divided by $1,149.06.
it's a 7% increase.
That's a 7% increase.
Correct,
Okay, 7.
And if you want to go to the example, the other village example on the far
right,
right,
Right.
you'll find the same percent.
correct.
But
93,
let's now do a town example.
9364.
Okay,
And so take the town example, which is right below the first one, divide 398.89 by 13,292.18. And you'll find that's only a 3% increase in tax.
I believe the answer will be the number of parcels within the village compared to the parcels in the town.
But it has to be an increase from last year to this year.
It's not quite, well,
What do you got?
it's almost 3%.
Okay, 3%.
So,
And I tell you that if you do all 6 examples there, you'll see the village rate is 3%. Outside the village, the town's rate, the village rate is 7%. And the town rate is only 3%.
in as far as an increase of assessed value.
No,
No,
increase in tax.
Tax
And
per
tax.
thousand.
The tax rate is going up 7% for village residents and only 3% for those outside the village.
But this is not what we're using this as an example, right? But we're not slapping that on to it. The village is going up 0.096 from the previous year, and the town is going up, what is it? 2.018,
Yeah.
minus 1.999. So how are you saying that we are slapping 7% on a village resident? We're not doing that.
Yeah, we are. This
You're
table tells you how much your taxes are going to go up. That's the purpose of this
It's
table.
tax rate examples
Per thousand.
per,
No,
It's-
this is actually for,
she's showing assessed value where she's getting, it's not,
she's picking 6 examples.
yes,
And so for the first top left-hand corner, for a house appraised at $249,500.
yes.
Their taxes are going up 7% because they're in the village. The taxes they have to pay is going to go up 7% from last year to this year.
I think Lois has to answer it. I believe it has to do.
I don't believe that's true.
No, I don't believe it's true.
It's not
either
true.
because-
We are not going up 7%. It's
No,
not
the
happening.
tax, the tax.
How can you, we are not increasing our taxes by 7%.
The tax,
Okay.
the taxes that residents will pay in the village is going to go up 7%.
Tax rate for the village per
I'm
thousand.
not talking tax rate, we're talking about just taxes,
No,
what you pay.
but you're looking at examples of certain houses.
Yeah.
Any property in the village will be assessed 1.114 per thousand.
Well,
In the town,
Tim, why don't you?
any
see that?
property will be assessed 2.018
Exactly.
per
Yeah.
thousand.
But this is, it's shown on page 1, but per
Page 2.
1,000.
I'm trying to
Or
explain to you
page-
what happens to the taxpayer. And
That's-
and that's the page
That's
I-
not what happens to the taxpayer. That's where she's getting her information from. But on the front page, we are showing you that the village is going to be slapped 1.114
Per thousand.
per thousand,
Right.
$1, okay?
And what that means.
And then
to-
you compare that from last year when they were slapped 91 cents.
91.8, yeah. sure.
Yeah. So the difference between last year and this year is the percentage increase. It's not 7%.
Okay,
Yeah,
that percent is 21%. And that's,
It's not 7%, Tim. You see that on the cover, this in black and
I
white.
think what
Well,
you're
maybe,
looking for
maybe you
is,
had Lois answer that.
yeah,
I
Lois,
don't see why you don't understand. The
I,
reason why she does this is that she says, the reason why she does this page is to give examples.
of
what
what the
taxpayer will
increase
see.
per next year out of their pocket is going to be.
What the increase
It's
in
going
their
to be
taxes.
$81 more
That's right,
than they paid the previous year.
which is
Right.
7%.
No, but
But the rate of that,
Forget the rate. I-
that's how she
I-
determines
I
the
don't pay
values.
rates, I pay tax.
you're saying this, okay, you're saying,
I think, I think everybody is correct. We just got to get an answer from Lois of why those examples show Tim perceives it to be 7%, whereas the actual rate increase is only less than 1%.
I don't know why I say I'm perceiving, I'm dividing 2 numbers here that are right in front of me.
Understood. But
And it's consistent between village houses.
But you've asked this question every year, Tim, that you come to this meeting.
No,
Yeah,
this is
excuse
different.
me.
No,
For the last 2 years, you've come in and said, why is the village rate so much higher than the town rate. And Lois has given you the answer. I just don't recall what the answer was.
We're not talking about rates, Mike. I'm trying to get you off rates.
No, I'm talking about, you used rate last year, plus you looked at the examples and said, well, this house went up 7%, whereas a townhouse only went up 3%. And she had the answer, and then you walked out and accepted it.
Mhm.
So we need to have her give you the same answer.
But that's the rate discussion. That's not the taxes.
Okay, so Tim, do you have another question?
Yes. Why doesn't the town use New York Class for your available cash?
Why doesn't what?
Why doesn't the town use New York Class as repository for all available fund balances?
Yeah, I asked her that question, and you asked me that question at the farmer's market.
It's still not being,
That's a pooled income fund.
Right.
And,
that pays about 5% interest.
and ours is, I think, held now at the bank.
Mhm.
And that would be a board decision, but we would want somebody to come in and give us a presentation on that.
What is that? I don't understand.
It's a pooled
Yeah, it's a
income
pool.
fund that the state
Yeah.
allows local towns, when they have those excess funds, balances, to go into a pooled income fund where all the towns pool their dollars to an investment company, and therefore the investment company has a bigger corpus to get higher interest rates on. And then if you were to pull your money out, you got a higher rate than if you kept it in a CD and you
Or a
made,
bank.
or a bank. And it's an offer. I think we were offered it numbers of years ago. We opted not to go into it, but Tim brought it up once. I guess the village does it. We don't do it, but if it's something that we want to get information on.
$5,000 of interest just by making our available cash sit in one of those as opposed to in the bank.
How often do you withdraw from them?
Probably monthly. And it's a less than a day turnaround.
So what
It's
was
very
your,
liquid,
what was your rate of return for the past year, do you think?
about 5%.
5%?
Actually, it was like 6 something coming down to like 5. Rates are coming down,
Okay.
but still pays a
So-
significantly higher rate.
So like taking part of your fund balance to invest it in there.
Correct,
And
correct.
what are we getting now
I don't know. Lois would know that.
at the bank?
Oh,
I think it's,
In the range of a percent.
it's.
and just like anything, an investment is a risk. But if you're pooling it, everybody's in that same pool's got the same risk. Different towns can put different amounts in, obviously, because they have different, and how often do you need to take it out also impacts what the rate of return eventually is going to be.
Mhm.
But if it's something we're interested in, we just bring the guy down and have him make a
Oh, we should.
presentation.
Jesus,
We definitely should do that.
Absolutely.
So Gary,
I
we had
don't know,
a,
I
mayor's
didn't know
and
we did
supervisors
it
meeting
once.
dedicated to that. You weren't at that?
I wasn't
Oh, you
there.
weren't, okay.
Who else,
Did you get the free candy bars? You remember the candy bars?
who else is it besides you, do you know of locally?
Most of the members of the mayors and supervisors in Essex County.
Okay.
I'm gonna say probably 80% of them.
We didn't have a meeting this month, right?
No,
So we're up, the next one is the Christmas one,
well, I don't know, whatever the first week of December is.
probably. Yeah.
Well, it's a pooled income fund. I mean,
Right.
it's a way of making
Mhm.
money, make money.
And I was leery about
Okay.
myself, we got that like 3 years ago. And so I was leery about how liquid it would be. It turns out it's
It's
very
fine.
liquid.
Very liquid.
And so we put even funds we know we're gonna use in the next month in there.
Do you know who,
Are there risks,
sure.
like taking public money, like say the stock market dives? Do you,
Most of the stuff is in.
Like, for example-
Treasuries,
okay, so for example, the bank is FDIC, it's federally insured.
right,
Is this insured?
I don't know about that.
See, that could be the reason why we didn't do
Is
that.
this a state-sponsored program?
It says
We should
state,
talk to
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
So if it's a
That could be
state-sponsored program, it's probably underwritten by the state.
Well, let's find out.
Well, we can
Yeah.
only find that.
Right.
But I'd
That's a
recommend.
good point.
Well, CDs now, you can get 5%. Well, no, maybe not right now, but a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
You get 5% CD for a year,
You ladder them.
but you had to hold, you couldn't touch it for a year.
And
Well, you could draw the interest.
do you have a big enough reserve fund that it's worth putting it in there? If you're putting 100,000 in, but if you put 600,000 in, big difference on your return.
Yeah,
Or when bills start coming in, when you collect your tax bills, you put in $2-3 million,
Correct.
right?
That's
That's what
right.
we do.
Yeah.
And so right away you're earning.
Right.
That's right.
So
So you're getting 3,000.
we're checking into.
so I should be seeing a decrease in my water bill then, right?
Well, unfortunately, we can't accrue enough savings in the water to be able
Yeah.
to have a fund balance.
If you're gonna
So
have.
the fund
water-
balance is zero for your water.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
And
why?
sewer,
You know, after all them surcharges, why
That's
is
right.
it zero balance?
believe it or not. Every time I increase the rates, the revenue goes down.
Yeah, why?
I just can't win that one.
Okay,
And the reason why that was because it's only a third of $1 million. And I just.
how is the water for the village, just out of
It's in
curiosity?
good shape.
It is still, yeah.
I sent those last week.
Considering
You
the
guys are not
drought,
sure.
considering,
Yeah, I
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can tell by the water going over Shankman's Dam. I know it's still
Oh, you can see, okay, sure. Right.
Wappingers Creek in
There's
Pleasant
a-
Valley
there's
is
a
dry.
Decent trickle.
Yeah. What else,
That's a good
Tim?
And the reservoir at the town park.
Oh, okay, all right, good.
Tim, what else, anything?
No, that's all.
So the only thing that we have to answer for you
Close.
is
Well, I'll kind of
your
go.
last, so the next, we're gonna try to have a public hearing for the next meeting, right?
On the NDP
That's
contract.
14.
And
Because
so I'm
we
gonna hold off, I'm
need to,
gonna hold off signing that contract with NDP.
Yeah.
yeah,
Until you guys pass your
Yeah,
budget.
yeah,
and then
Confirm.
you'll come back for that meeting to
Yes.
ask Lois. Hopefully she's here for that.
Yes,
I'll
I'll take it through that.
Okay,
And this is the latest version of it, right? What you
Yeah.
said?
Yeah.
This is the latest
Yeah.
version.
All right, this one was in the
It's supposed to be.
website's not on. Okay,
All right,
I'm all
Tim,
done.
sorry you had to
Thanks,
wait.
Tim.
No problem.
Okay, have a
Thanks.
good night.
You too.
So on the 14th,
So,
want me to schedule 5:30 public hearing prior to the
Why don't we
regular
do-
scheduled meeting?
Why
or
don't we
want
do the
just
public hearing at 5
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
and then the regular meeting at 5:30?
6:30.
Oh,
No,
you don't want to be here for an hour and a half.
No,
no,
we'll have it earlier.
I'll do it early.
Oh, yeah,
So 5 public hearing, regular meeting 5:30,
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
just this one time. and then-
just this one time.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, should we call Howard and let him know that it's early? No, he'll see it.
Well, you.
So you need a motion to close the
Didn't
public
come
hearing?
tonight.
Well, we can't close the public hearing. We have to keep it open,
No.
right?
Okay.
So it stays open.
So it stays open.
Why didn't we think about that, Andy?
I don't know. I
We
think
thought about
I
it,
got the
but didn't
dates
we have a
coming.
conversation that
On what?
you were under the impression that we couldn't,
What?
for this increase? Am I lying when
What
I,
increase?
the, ambulance NDP?
My thought, and I still might be wrong or right, his fiscal year
Right. it's
ends in June.
June.
So that's 6 months of our fiscal year, which means we've already prepaid him
Right.
in 2024, I mean, in 2023. We paid him in 2023 for the first 6 months in 2024.
Correct.
In 2024's contract, we paid him for the rest of 2024, which was the beginning of the new contract, and into 2025, right?
But the new.
If you did this on a timeline,
Yeah, so,
so that would mean that we paid him from June through
No, we paid him in February.
We paid in February, March.
for the contract that was valid in 2023.
Correct.
And now we're paying for a contract that is being signed now in 2025
for,
for 25 and 20, part of 26. Correct?
for, so when we pay in February, we are paying for,
2024.
Right.
so wait a second. When we pay this in February, we are paying their fiscal year from last June to the end of this June, correct?
That's
In the
how I
May
understand-
to the beginning.
Right, that's
Right.
how I understand it.
So
yeah.
that, so we are not paying money from this June to the, in other words, we're still behind. We're behind, like, their fiscal year ends on May 31st of 2024. So the last time we made a payment, are we paying, like this February, in February 2025, what does that cover?
What year dollars are we using to
Yeah.
pay that?
Yeah, what year dollars?
I think it's
You see what I mean?
2024's dollars.
So is it are we paying for their fiscal year of 2024 to 2025 now, or are we paying now from 2025 to 2026? Do you see what I mean?
I see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
And if that's the case, then we don't owe them a cent.
We're still in session.
Right. No, we're
But no
not.
one's on. No one's in the waiting room. No one's listening.
Do you see what I mean?
I understand, and that's a question that Lois would probably have to answer us.
Yeah.
Where do we draw the money from to pay? Because he's correct, it's a new contract, so it's a new starting date.
But are we paying them ahead?
So he
Or are
wants
we
us to
paying them
pay,
behind?
he wants us to pay the monthly for 12,000 for something from June 1st till the end of December.
Of $20,25.
Right.
Whereas from January to June, that money comes out of the 24 budget to them.
It comes out of our 2025 budget.
Not
Right, because he's just asking us to,
advance it.
right. So I think you're right.
Yeah,
But I'm writing all these questions down for Lois.
Yeah, but when we pay in February and we give them 2 installments, we used to just
Right,
give them,
February, March,
right.
2 installments.
But didn't we used to just give them 1 installment? Now he wants it twice.
no, we did two.
I
No,
think we gave
Yeah,
two,
we
Yeah.
two installments.
we gave the village 2
Yeah,
installments.
February and March.
But it was from dollars from the previous budget. It wasn't the current budget.
Was our 2024 budget.
It was,
when Tim came
This one-
aboard, he asked for it to be a breakdown. But when Rod Brown was mayor, it was just a one-time.
oh, I
It could have
know.
been,
Yeah.
it could be right there.
Yeah, you might be right.
So, because he wanted, like, this is where I'm confused now, the 2 installments, like if you repay February and then we're paying
When's
March.
the new contract start? It starts,
I guess I'm
June
worried
1st.
about not increasing contract. I just want to know is when we're paying in February
in March.
and March of 2025, what year are we paying for the village to cover that cost?
I'm pretty sure it's 2024. It was
So
in last
we're-
year's budget.
So we're paying for the cost of last year and this year.
His request is to pay for last year and this year.
Under normal circumstances,
You only pay for the 1 year.
we're paying, what year is that? Is it the past year or the year ahead?
On a normal year,
It's the past year.
it's the past year we pay in February.
And we
March.
wouldn't be paying them this June through December.
Okay, my question is, when we pay in February and March of 2025, the village fiscal year ends in the end of May. So are we paying from 2024 to end of 2025, May 25? We're paying, so we are actually behind in payment?
No,
We're finishing a payment.
yes, you're, I think.
And
Do you
we're
see what I
starting a
mean?
new-
We're
We're
behind,
finishing a
I would
payment.
say,
We're finishing a payment, and then June, we start a new payment. Because it's a new contract.
because
That
this
would be out
new
of the
contract would be the
2025
12,000 for 18 a month. But so that'll still have to be in our new budget. So we'll have to, in our 25 budget, and I don't think it's in there, is it?
No. I have to ask Lois, because I think she said that we couldn't do that.
I think you're right,
And that's why she didn't, because
right.
it's not like her to just not put it
Right.
in without, discussing it with anybody. So
Mm-hmm.
these are good questions for her.
Hmm.
She came in for a couple hours today. I don't know. She had to get out of the house, she said. I don't know if we'll see her.
Greg?
Yeah.
Did he die?
Oh, he
Yeah.
did Tuesday morning,
Oh,
yeah.
no, he died Tuesday? I
Yeah.
didn't even
Today.
know.
No, I'm sorry, he died yesterday, passed away yesterday.
Yesterday, I didn't even know.
No,
Was it Tuesday?
it's,
I knew-
today
I
is
knew he was-
Thursday. He died Tuesday morning.
Okay, he died Tuesday.
Oh, wow, I didn't know.
Mhm.
The birds, Greg. Jeez.
Okay, guys, playing teacher. The top line is the town fiscal year.
Right,
Mhm.
January through
The
December.
second line is the village fiscal year,
Mhm.
correct?
Mhm.
So that means the fire contract starts here.
Mhm.
This payment that we give to him,
Mhm.
we give January, February, and March,
Mhm.
pays this part of the bill.
February, and March.
Or February, March pays this part of their bill.
Mhm.
The new contract starts here.
Mhm.
He's asking us to pay
Right, a monthly.
A monthly?
till the End of the year.
for the rest of that year.
Oh.
But this is our budget year.
Okay,
Are we building it, the number here to pay this? This payment is for from the previous budget.
so when we pay,
This is 2025,
when we pay,
this is 25, and this is 25.
24.
when we,
But 24,
no, when we pay in February,
where does it come from?
what part of the village budget is it paying for? It's not just paying, we're paying for an entire year. We're not paying for half a year.
We don't give them the whole amount.
Yes, we do.
Or we give them the whole amount.
No.
100, we give them $655,000.
No.
Not in the beginning, not in
No,
January,
Yes, we
not
do.
all at once, no.
not in February, March.
I'm telling you,
No,
In the
no.
two installments we do.
and it's February, March.
Right.
It's
So
February,
we
March.
give them the entire
Amount.
amount in this, and where
Right.
does it cover?
Is
What part of their year does it cover? Does it cover from here
So
to
if
here?
he's asking for the,
And if it
No,
does,
the new contract starts in July,
so if he's asking for 687, right?
there's six,
Whatever,
whatever,
that's gonna be paid here
six something.
under the new contract. So it's paying for July, August, September, October, November, December, and the next
and the next fiscal
over here,
in 26,
here.
right,
over here.
20,
My
So-
question is,
we don't need to pay this.
my question is, these months here, January to June of 2025, and you're saying we give an installment in February and March,
Yes, to cover the entire budget.
Right.
their year.
this year, over here for him, the money goes this
The
way.
two-
No,
25 and 26?
no.
That's what I'm trying to figure this out.
The two installments that we pay them next year are gonna be the money we put in the budget this year.
So.
So the extra money he wants is not in there.
Okay,
So
I'm
the
not,
January, February,
Right, correct.
the February, March money we give him every year, don't even put a date on it. The money we get here is in our budget for our 12 months. We take that money and we pay him here to cover the cost of this contract. Whereas the old contract, the money doesn't pay for that. That's been paid for the previous year because it ends here. It began in 2024.
I think Mike's right.
25 to 26, that's what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, 25 to 26. So we are giving them, he can take the increase out of this budget, and then we can pay them in the next budget, the increase. Do you see what I mean?
Right. in other
He
words,
doesn't
Same
need,
thing.
because
February,
we're paying them 5 months ahead is what I'm trying to establish.
Right, exactly. I see what you're saying. So
And
we should just
he
pay
does
him
not
again in
need this
February, and
increase,
March.
And I still wish this was on. You know,
It is on.
The volume's not, yeah.
right, that's right. So we don't need to be paying this increase. Does everybody see this? Does everybody
Well,
follow
let's just
this?
check with Lois, but I think you're right. In other words,
We're paying them fiscally ahead, not fiscally behind.
right,
We're
so,
paying 25 to 26 or 24 to 25.
So right now, in November of 2024, we've already paid for this. We paid for it in January, February, March of this year for this day.
Mhm.
But as soon as we move into the next month, 2 months,
Mhm.
our new budget requires us to pay for his July, not his January, February, and March, and April, and May, because we've already paid for that.
Mhm. Yes, we have.
So he's asking us to pay
In
the
addition.
2 installments, which we always have agreed to give him a head up
Yep,
and pay ahead,
yep,
but he's asking us to give him an extra $2,000 a month, right? Was it
12,000.
86,926.
in advance to cover the rest of the year in 2025 and the portion in 2026 that's under the contract?
Instead of February and March.
No, he's
Well, we
he's
still need
asking
February,
for the end of 2025 for the increase.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is we've already paid additionally for 2026, January through, so he can use that portion to cover this increase, and then we can make it up in the next budget.
You could.
Because he does not need, we're already overpaying him. We're already
We're
overpaying.
advancing.
We're advancing him the money.
We're
We're advancing it. So therefore, he does not need to do this. This is still on.
I think we have to get it verified by Lois and then bring him back in and say, look, we just did a mathematical computation. And 6-month fiscal years are a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
If everybody
Yes,
was
they
on the
are.
same, it wouldn't be a problem.
Wouldn't be a
But
problem.
that fiscal halfway mark, this part,
That's
it's the
why,
same thing I did with Danielle on the daycare program.
Yeah.
that's why in the past, and I'm telling you this, because he asked for it to be advanced, but we already, the village, would get it, I believe, from the town, the portion of the fiscal year and not the entire year in full. But now he gets it all at once, but we're advancing him for the following year.
Because
You see, because he's running from June
but he's budget short.
and he's still like, and all this is supposed to go towards fire department, not anything else.
It goes towards, advanced care. Not
Right, fire and health.
No, it's just the ambulance service.
It's just the ambulance.
That's
Just
the only
the
contract.
All right, so that's it.
Yeah.
Right,
That's right, fire is different.
you know? So why would he need this ahead of time?
I don't mind.
Why would he
So we-
need it ahead of time?
What's that?
You're gonna need it, it just goes towards
Because
that.
it's probably short. Because they got hit with a big increase.
No, but we always do this, and it doesn't matter what the increase is.
Oh.
I'm trying to say under normal circumstances, we are still advancing him 5 months ahead of time.
Well, I will, if I see Lois tomorrow, I will ask her these questions and have her email you. So,
We may have to bring him back in because
Does
he's under the
anybody-
assumption we're gonna do it.
Does any,
This can be answered in the next meeting anyways, for Tim, because I asked him if he was coming, so it doesn't matter if we can do this. We
It's
don't have
just-
to do this ahead of time.
okay.
It's just, when you're dealing with 2 entities that are on different fiscal years, it's always the problem of, well, beginning of the year is the end of our year. And the end of their year is the beginning of our year.
right,
So the beginning of our year, which is 25, is the end of his fiscal year.
no, his fiscal year is not at the beginning of the year, it's in June,
Correct.
or end of May.
But but that's
June
when we make our decisions on budgeting. He's asking us to budget in advance on that last part of
Right,
his fiscal
right.
year
Right,
and asking for the money up front.
Which is fine if we didn't advance him 5 months ahead of time anyway, so you could understand that.
Yeah.
But now that we've thought this through, he doesn't need to be doing this.
Right, know what he's doing. He's trying to balance his budget. Because it's cash flow,
But the new contract starts in June,
June, July,
June 1st.
for $687 or $655,000, right? Or
So
something.
how does our share get paid?
$742,355.
Right.
We will give him, we will give
86,000.
him in February, March, a portion of that. Plus he wants that,
No,
86,000.
A portion of what? Of the original contract?
Right.
So this other money that comes, that he wants,
Is the increase.
Is the increase, the
Of
86.9.
12,000 a
but
month.
we don't have that in the budget.
That's why we just added it to the budget to make it 6.
Thinking that if we added it to the budget, it would be 742,355.
If we didn't, we left it at
We've
655.
just established, however, that under normal year, no matter what the increase is, we are already advancing him 5 months of the contract every year. So he does not need to ask us for the increase because we are already overpaying him.
But he still needs that increase.
He will need that, yes, and then we could budget that in the next year and probably
Pay it
in
in
next
February.
February, we pay it in February and March.
But the new contract starts June 1st.
So he's asking us to pay our share up front June 1st, so we're part of the contract. Know
Does
what I'm saying?
No,
Does everybody see
I
that?
say what you're saying,
Okay, so
but Gary's point is if the contract starts June 1st and we're covered by the
How
contract,
do they pay, how do they pay it?
I don't know,
Do they pay it monthly?
me to the contractor.
right,
I don't know how they pay that.
Oh, you should tell us.
We should ask that. But you're right.
well, forget the increase. Normally, we give them in 2 installments,
yes, I
February,
do.
okay?
Right.
Now, June 1st is gonna go up more to whatever the.
Yeah,
It's gonna go up
That money's gotta come,
86,926.
we have to pay that somewhere, and how do we pay it?
We are going to
February,
pay it
March.
in February of 2026, because in February of 2025, February and March, the 2 installments covered June through June
I don't think so.
25 to May,
December.
to May 26. We
Oh.
just said that we are advancing him. We're paying for the entire fiscal year. We're not paying for half. Here again, are we right or wrong? Are we paying them for the behind year or are we paying them for the ahead year?
Ahead year.
Okay, so then we are already advancing him 5 months of money that he can take and pay that increase. And then in February, we can cover the cost of the increase then.
How?
I understand it.
In our new
In our
budget.
new budget.
In the new
But it's not in our new budget.
No, our new
26
budget, 26 budget.
I guess I just don't understand.
Let Lois will tell us.
Okay,
It's very simple. She'll make it simple.
okay.
Here's a
She always
simple way,
does.
if this was not occurring, in February, March, we would be paying the installment of $655,000
Twice.
twice. He would take that money and as of June into a new year for them, he would have the money to cover himself from June through the following May from us.
Mhm.
Then they put in their money. What he's asking for now is we know there's an increase to go up to 700, so we're gonna take a portion of that 700 in
Yeah.
February,
It's
March,
86,926.
giving him 2 installments. And then he wants 12,000 from May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December,
No, June first.
June, to make up, to get to that 705, that extra
I
85,000,
understand that.
right?
But where's it coming from?
That would come out of this budget if we went with the 705. If we stick with the 655, he would just get 2 installments from 655,
Right.
which would cover him through his fiscal year, but then they would have a deficit of $85,000 that they would have to make up. So he's asking us to pay that in advance.
Under the old contract, we paid him 2 installments
That's it,
for the whole year.
right? But now we've gotten an increase on the new contract
Right.
of monies that we didn't anticipate.
So his year is not our year.
Right.
You're thinking about from January 1st to the end of December that we budget. But when we pay this fire or this rescue bill, we're actually advancing him money of 5 months for our next year.
Instead of giving
No, I
us,
understand that.
Okay, so
But the increase is where I'm having a problem with.
okay,
he's asking us he knows that we budgeted already. He knows that we're in the budget process right now, and he saw the number of 655, which is the old contract number,
because we didn't know there was an increase. Now he's telling us there's an increase, but he wants us to pay him monthly to cover that increase above the six
That I
fifty-five.
understand.
So that brings it to 705 that we would have to budget right now
742.
to cover that.
I know.
So the contract
But
starts
what I'm
June.
having a problem is, where does that other money come from?
It could either come from our budget now, or it could come from the money that he's advanced ahead of time.
From the old contract. Because we always are paying ahead.
We're actually overpaying him every year.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't understand it, I guess.
Yeah, so at the end of his fiscal year,
Which is next
he'd
year.
have an extra 86,926 if we paid him those 6 months. Or that from June 1st to December.
So
Correct. But he won't have, because he has to pay the new contract, which is,
Well, how does he pay the new contract
yeah, I
monthly?
don't know, does he pay it monthly, 2 checks? I don't know.
Yeah,
So the budget now is 655, 429 for 12 months. So that's $54,619 a month,
Which we could pay
okay?
Right,
ourselves.
right.
So he has an extra $273,000. Because that would be from January through end of May of 2026. That he is probably putting in the bank and making interest on. Okay, that's an extra $273,000
let Lois will tell
Okay.
us.
for the following fiscal year that we advance. We advance him that money. He can take that 86,000 to cover the cost of this year, and then next year we can overpay, so to speak, the 86,000,
We want
because
to,
he has it already.
instead of this kind of mathematical,
We should really rethink about how we do this.
should we think about maybe going to just paying him a monthly rate rather than advance?
That's right.
Not a bad idea.
That's not a
Instead
bad
of paying
idea.
him in advance,
Because he
say
asked,
to him, we're gonna pay you monthly.
that's right.
And that way, we're on a calendar year, we know exactly how many
Well, you
dollars
gotta ask
per
him,
month.
you gotta ask him how he gets billed.
That's right.
He
Ambulance
knows,
company.
That's right. We would save a boatload.
but
if
if,
we did that.
if the contract for the village comes up in July, he would then have to tell us what the increase was, so that we would have to be able to cover July, August, September, October, November, December of our current year if we
Right.
paid monthly.
Right.
Mhm.
And how would we do that? Take it out of excess funds?
Well, no, because he's already projected a 3-year contract, so we would
So
know
for the
that.
next 3 years, we'll be fixed.
Right.
It might be easier to go pay him monthly,
We wouldn't be going through this.
especially cash flow and pulling big chunks out of our money, rather than our money sit for a while.
Every time when I sat for 4.5 years in the village, God help me, every meeting,
Counting is tough.
budget. Rod Brown would get so impatient. He would sit there and it would be, and we would have to explain it and explain it and explain it every meeting.
Well, I know Lois has explained the village before,
Not just year, every meeting. It would be.
but we may want to consider, let's make installments to that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how they pay the contract.
Yes,
too.
it does. I mean, I don't think any municipality should be paying anything up front. So if NDP is asking for that up front, they shouldn't be getting it.
No,
And
Should be
usually
monthly.
It should be monthly, and if it
They
is,
probably bill them monthly.
right,
I would think.
right, so
So
then
they
why
would
was it
pay-
this ahead of time? So
usually
now-
they pay for services rendered, so
That's right,
you get the bill at the end of January for January.
that's right.
So you
That's
pay in
exactly right.
February.
So there are questions we should ask,
Yeah, there's questions.
and Tim, we are considering paying by month, rather than these big dollar amounts
Dollar
up
amount.
front, which
And- and-
$85,000 impact on our budget. then he's gonna say, well, how are you gonna do your budget? We're gonna do your budget by what the bill is,
What-
divided by 12,
Exactly.
and we will give you 12 monthly payments.
That's right.
Right.
And in the meantime, we'll take that figure and we will put it where he told us to, and we will make money on it.
That's right.
And in June.
Boy, are we getting smart.
Oh, we're making money now.
And in June, if he gets an increase, he alerts us to the increase, and halfway through our budget, we can make a budget adjustment to cover the remainder 6 months of that contract year. But the following year, we would know already what it is, and you just divide by 12.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
That's right.
that would be better for us.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
Chrissy, can you explain that to Lois?
Yeah,